She was awarded the James Randi Prize for 2017 and 2018. Susan founded and manages About Time, a nonprofit organization focusing on scientific skepticism and activism. Let's give her a hand. Come on down.
Hello, everybody. This is a really good-sized crowd. I'm very excited to be here with you today. How's that for audio, Paul? Okay. I assume you all know what I'm here for. All right.
We're going to talk about gorillas.
Gorillas. We're going to talk about gorillas and, yeah, thanks. Okay, so, gorillas, Spoonie, I'm sorry. Swoopy's a pretty famous person in our community. Swoopy from Skepticality, so, Spoonie, sorry. Okay. GSoW is a Wikipedia editing group, and I'm going to be talking about that today. So this is the March for Science. How many people here marched for science this year? Fantastic. So that was in 2017, right? We marched for science in April. Big numbers. There was hundreds of thousands of people who came out all over the world for March for Science. We stood up, we marched for science, and the reasons why we march for science is because science is under attack, right? There's a lot of problems with science, and there was marches all over the world. We had one in Monterey County, which is where I'm from, in Salinas, so you guys are all welcome to come hang out with us in Monterey County. I am a photographer, professional photographer, but I specialize in children. I'm retired now, but this is one of the photos I took of Monterey County skeptics, and this is supposedly summing up the entire March for Science in one photograph. That's what I was trying to aim for, and this picture is actually on the Wikipedia page for March for Science. I love it. I think it tells a really terrific story because it talks a lot about what science is kind of turning into. It's becoming, there's a lot more women becoming involved. We're speaking out, we're being aggressive, we're loud, we're not going to take this anymore kind of attitude. And look, we have children in here. And I like this picture a lot because especially this young man right here with his socks that are one higher than the other. I love that. He's got his pink pussy hat on, which is a wonderful thing to have. He is excited. I mean, his whole face just says, I love science. It is great. Science is amazing. This is my first protest. This kid may go far into the world of science and protest and activism. It's just such a wonderful thought. And then you have these kids on the other end over here marching for the penguins, or what?
Woodpeckers.
Woodpeckers. The guy on the right side kind of looks like he'd rather be marching for penguins. But anybody here march and speak out for the woodpeckers? Who came as a woodpecker for March for Science 2018, 17? Nobody? Well, that's fine. I'm sure the woodpeckers are really thrilled about that now. So this picture kind of sums up what the whole phenomenon of March for Science was. More women, children, young people, aggression, speak out, excitement. Hundreds of thousands of people. We told that administration, didn't we? Didn't we get them to fix all the science things? Don't we have a science? What's the name of the person in charge of our science thing that they appointed after March for Science because we were so pissed off we told them? What was his name? Her name?
Harvey the 6-foot rabbit.
Yeah, Harvey. Oh, I love that movie, by the way.
You mean the EPA?
No, I'm just talking about our science advisor. Who's our science advisor? Ivanka?
No.
Hey, don't we have a Space Force coming? That is so exciting. We're gonna go to the moon or something. Mars? I mean, isn't that planned? Right? We told them. We told them we're pissed. We told them that we need to get science taken care of and we need to get this taken care of now because we are done with it. What happened in 2018? How many people marched for science in 2018 in this room? I'm not seeing any hands. Why am I not seeing any hands? Okay? So I love marches. I love this March for Women, March for Gun Rights, March or whatever it was. I love all that stuff. It's fun. I'm an extrovert. I love going out and taking photographs and wearing stupid hats and carrying signs and taking pictures of it. And you feel this bonding with the people that you're with. You feel this real, like we're all like nerds together or something. We're all like want to do something and tell them. But it didn't do anything, right? We didn't get anywhere. We didn't even have another march the next year. Right? So my point is, these marches are fine and great for TV and for coverage, but I think it's pretty embarrassing when we can't even follow up with the next one. And it's also embarrassing because nothing happened. We didn't change any laws. We didn't hold our feet to the fire. Nothing. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to tell you a way of fighting back. This is a way of fighting back from your home, with your cat, your dog. You can be naked, you can be in your pajamas. Nobody is going to care, but you can fight back and you can take back science education, critical thinking, and you can do it in a way that is going to affect millions of people all over the world in your sleep. And you don't have to be confrontational. You don't have to wear a sign or a woodpecker outfit or anything of the sort. So this is what I'm going to talk to you about today. I am a science activist. I am Susan Gerbic. I am the leader and founder of Guerrilla Skeptics on Wikipedia. We're better known as GSoW. So I may refer to us as GSoW or GSoW, and that's what I mean. I'm going to give you an overview of what we do. So we are a Wikipedia editing team. We are working to improve, rewrite, create, and support Wikipedia pages associated with scientific skepticism. We work on pages concerned with the paranormal, alternative medicine, our history, that's the skeptic and atheist history. We want to have the backs of the people who are on the front lines doing the hard work. And these are people who are being attacked in the media. These are people who are being doxxed. These are people whose lives are threatened across the world. I don't know if you realize that or not, but there are some parts of this world that you cannot even mention anything that has anything to do with an alternate God belief in your culture. You can be beaten. You can have your body hacked off. Your children and your family are threatened. You can be killed. And it is happening all over in places of the world where it is not okay to talk and speak out against the alternate view of the God beliefs of that area. So GSoW is really trying to fight and have their back. Because once somebody has a really well-written Wikipedia page, a lot of things happen. They receive a lot more publicity in the media. They are also given notoriety, which makes them able to speak out. They gives them more confidence. We have their back. There's a lot of things that happen when somebody has a well-written, awesome Wikipedia page. Okay, so what we do with this Wikipedia editing team is we are trying to recruit, train, and mentor science-minded people. You don't have to be good grammarists. You don't have to be great at spelling and know a lot or have PhDs. We don't train. We train you to how to get around that. We are advocating for a better communication, and we want to be able to give you a better outlet for your frustration. How many people here are on Facebook? Okay, put your hands down. How many on Twitter? How many of you, okay, hands down, how many of you guys have had an argument with somebody in the last week on one of those social media sites? All right, are you changing minds? Okay, we have one out of this room. All right, so maybe you've changed a mind. Maybe, I hear this argument all the time. Somebody's watching on the sidelines and maybe I'm going to convince somebody who's... No! There is a better way of doing this. You guys, you're fighting the fight that they want you to fight. You are being distracted from the good work you could be doing with your time. I mean, go watch cat videos or something. You have a better use of your time and your blood pressure won't go up. Cat videos are great. That's what the internet was invented for, that and porn, right? So we really want you to stop arguing with people on social media. You're not winning the arguments. You're raising your blood pressure. They're not reading the things you're putting on. You're putting on these citations, these great articles, these great things. They're not reading them. They don't care. They're going on about their own thing. And it's just wasting your time. I've heard so many people, they're like, but they're wrong. Get over it, right? So the work that my editors are doing on Wikipedia are allowing them to better educate people, not necessarily people who are believers, because we may or may not be able to convince them, and we have been able to do that. It happens. But it's those people who are looking for information for the very first time. They're hearing about a subject that they've never heard of before, and they Google it, or whatever search engine, and the first place they're probably going to hit is a what?
Wikipedia page.
A Wikipedia page. Thank you. You guys are on it. All right. Okay. So, and with your mouse full, that's even better. So they're going to find a Wikipedia page. They're going to go and they're going to come to you later and they're going to say, I have done some research and I think that maybe I figured this out. And homeopathy probably isn't what I thought it was. I thought it was some natural thing. They need to save face. That's one of these things we have to realize. If you are confrontational, yelling at them in their face that they're stupid and idiots, do you think they're likely to change their minds? Not likely. But if you say, you know what, I think that you've got the wrong stick there, the end of the stick, but I bet you can figure it out. And, you know, check this out. Why don't you look at this? And they Google it, they go home, they figure out what homeopathy is, and the peace and quiet of their home with their cat and their dog. And they say, wow, I really didn't know that. I guess not. But they need to come back to work the next day and say, I figured it out. I figured this out. I'm smart. And they're not going to say Wikipedia, because Wikipedia has a reputation of not necessarily having, you know, it has a reputation. But that's where they are. They're on Wikipedia. I guarantee it. Right. So we are trying to write Wikipedia pages that are aimed at people who are the average reader. We are not writing in an academic tone. We are not writing at a third grade level. We are trying to write for the average reader with maybe a high school education. There's hyperlinks on there. That's what all those blue links are, that link it so that they can find out more information by clicking on the link to go to another page, to go to another page. We're trying to write these things in languages that people read. My Wikipedia team is not only in English. We edit in all kinds of languages because it's too important. Teaching critical thinking, getting good facts out there is too important for English only. We have really got to have this. And we're trying to, as I said, to write for the non-academic. So this is just an overview of Wikipedia, just to mention to you that there are thousands and thousands of articles out there, tens of thousands, maybe a million, I don't even remember at the time, but they're in all languages possible that we can get these things in. I do not work for Wikipedia. My editors do not work for Wikipedia. We do not receive any funding whatsoever from Wikipedia. We are our own nonprofit. We do follow all the rules of Wikipedia. I train only to follow the rules. We know the rules really, really well. We're fine. You can't even tell we're a GSoW editor sometimes from another normal editor, because we blend in. They probably don't even know who we are. Most editors on Wikipedia are skeptics, and they may not admit it to themselves that they're skeptics, but they are. And the reason why is because the rules of Wikipedia are rules of skepticism. You must have a valid, notable citation. You must have great sources. You must have written in a neutral tone. So all the rules of Wikipedia that we follow are all the rules that everybody on Wikipedia should have. So they're the rules of skepticism. So we need to own this problem. There's nobody out there who's going to be able to do this except Wikipedia editors. And because we have a focus on the paranormal and science and scientific skepticism, we are able to do a little bit more than the normal editor. But I should mention, the normal editor, there's thousands of them, and there's only 120, so 130 of us. So the normal editor out there is doing the majority of the work, and they do a damn good job. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a few stories. Now, I'm doing a lot of lectures. I did a lecture yesterday in Kitsap County. You guys should go check them out. They've got a nice little place over there, too. It's just a little over an hour away. Tomorrow I'm in Tacoma, and then the next 2 days after Portland, and then after that we're doing Eugene, and then after that Humboldt and Sacramento and Arcadia. So I've got 8 lectures on this tour. I live in Monterey County, which is down below San Jose. So I'm on tour. I want to talk to smaller groups. You guys are a lot bigger than I thought, because our average editor is coming from a group, a smaller group, a skeptic group like yours. Okay, so I'm going to tell you some stories. I know there's some people came from the atheist community in here. Any hands for the atheist community? Oh, wow, there's a lot more of you than I thought. Is there a big overlap between the skeptics and the atheists in here? Okay. So I pick out different stories to tell in each group, and the story really isn't so important to know exactly the details. So try not to read the fine print on the page. I know you're going to do it anyway, but just don't. Jot down the name or take a picture of the screen. Go read the Wikipedia page later. It's the story I'm going to tell you that's important, and I'm trying to change up the story because I'm traveling with two really good friends, and they're going to see 8 lectures, so I want to change the story a little bit here and there, just for their peace of mind. So yesterday I told a different story than I'm telling today. Who knows who this is? Canadian, atheist, famous, huge famous guy, awesome, nice guy. Nobody's ringing a bell. Do you guys heard of the Westboro Baptists? This is a son of the Westboro Baptist. This is Nathan Phelps, right? You guys remember that, okay? This guy's story is freaking amazing. If you ever get a chance to hear him lecture, he will have you in tears. Bring Kleenex. So Nathan Phelps is a superb individual, the kindest man I think I've ever seen. He's really, really an awesome guy. So I'm going to tell you a story about Nathan Phelps. I picked that out for you guys partly because I knew this was going to be a big atheist group. So Nathan Phelps had a Wikipedia page. Look at this crap. And I said that nicely. 5 citations. This guy is representing our community. He's one of our people. And he can't write his Wikipedia page. If you were somebody in the media looking for somebody to contact, maybe about Westboro Baptist or whatever, and you were Googling people's names, who should we get in to talk about Westboro Baptist? This is not somebody that I would probably hit on, because that doesn't look, it looks like, you know. We call this a non-scroller. At least I call him a non-scroller, because you can look at the entire Wikipedia page without scrolling your computer. 5 citations. So, when you go through my training, which takes a few months, your final project is to rewrite an existing Wikipedia page. You get to choose the page you want out of like a list of 30. Somebody picked this page. Maybe this is back in 2013, I believe. So we rewrote the Wikipedia page. Oh, I'm trying to remember what this was. Okay, so we added some stuff to it. 7 citations. We added a photo. We improved it a little bit. It's a lot better. Then we rewrote it completely. See, look at this. But this is just the little beginning part. I can't scroll to the whole thing. I wasn't sure if I'd have internet in here. Here's some more of it. There we go. You can see now, this is a nice looking page. If you were the media and you're trying to find somebody sane to interview that has to do with Westboro Baptist, and you're Googling Westboro Baptist, you're more likely to say, this guy has got good creds, he's kind, he's not going to embarrass us on TV by making a fool out of himself. He's already done other speaking gigs. I know that because I'm able to look at his Wikipedia page. Here's the citations we have on there. Nice, huh? And this is an old slide, so I bet you it's improved. So they were able to, so they're more likely to contact this person because this is a person that you would contact because he looks sane and so on. Okay, but when it was back over here and we were writing this Wikipedia page, my editor was brand new, you know, he's going through training, he's editing, and he's reading it through. And he says, I'm almost done with it, and then we're proofreading it. We're an editing team. That means we look at all the pages before we release them, and people proofread them and try to make sure that they're in good shape. We want to make sure there's no bias. We take out all those icky words that are flattering, that we're trying, because we're going to flatter the person, because we just by nature, we fall in love with the person we're editing. It just always happens. So we had to take all that out. I was scrolling on Facebook, I know you've heard of that, just one night, and I noticed Nathan Phelps put up a post that his father, Fred Phelps, the leader of Westboro Baptist, was in hospice. He just found out. And I said, oh my God, this is what people are going to find when they go to Nathan Phelps' page. So I'm on my phone, it's nearly midnight, and I'm texting out to whoever else is on our secret cabal, get that page that is in proofing live now. Now. I don't care what it looks like, get it live. And so they did, they contacted the editor, because we're a 24-hour team, because I have people all over the world. Ooh, I think I just dialed somebody accidentally. Sorry, if it's one of you, sorry. I'm done. So we made the page live, and this is what it looks like. And the reason why we needed to do that is because we knew the media was going to go nuts when they found out he was in hospice. We didn't know if he was going to be there a day, 2 days, a few weeks. But we knew the media was gonna go nuts. This is back in 2014. So what happened is my editor, and I can't really see the slides as well as I would like to, but you're not supposed to be looking at these slides anyway. So you can see these yellow and oranges. This is where we mentioned him, Nathan Phelps, on the Wikipedia page for Fred Phelps and for Westboro Baptist. They have totally independent Wikipedia pages. Westboro Baptist has its own page. Fred Phelps has its own page. Nathan Phelps has its own page. So we went through and made sure that Nathan, who is now notable because he has his own Wikipedia page, we made sure that he was mentioned on this page. Because what happens is, you know, you guys play that game. You start off on the page on blueberries and you end up following a bunch of links, and next thing you know, you're reading about a war in Ethiopia or something, you know, you're just, how did I get here, you know? So we wanted to make sure that people could link from place to place to place to get information, because again, he represents us. So here's, I think this is a Westboro Baptist page. So anyway, I'm just showing you that there's a bunch of things on here. So here's what happens. We're able to view Wikipedia page view stats. Now I'm going to show you some stats, so don't get excited. Some of you guys are really into stats. I like stats too. But what you're looking at are page views. This doesn't tell us how long a person was on the page. We don't know if it's the same person repeatedly going to the same page over and over. All we know is the page was accessed. All right? So here's what the page views look like for Fred Phelps. Almost nothing. And then look. This is, oh, I can take this off. Oh, sorry. So you can see right here, this is when it was announced in the media that he was in hospice. This is 6,000 page views right there. So this is about 7,500 page views one day. And then they get down here to about 3,000 page views a day. He dies. Look, we're at 12,000 page views a day. Oh, thank you. Can you see that better? No, it's 12,000, isn't it?
No, it's right there.
Oh, gee. Wow. 120? Who thought? Okay. So then this is the Wikipedia page view stats for Westboro Baptist Church. The same stats. You see how it's kind of done the same thing? It's got the big stat and the other. So now this one's only is that 30? 30,000 pages. Thank you. 30,000 page views over here. I haven't used this slide in a while, obviously. 30,000 page views. The same thing. He's in hospice. Here he is. He's died. Stories are written about him. And then it tails off to, oh, I don't know, maybe 4,000 page views, 3,000 page views a day. Here's Nathan Phelps. Same thing. Nothing, almost. I don't even know what that is. Pretty low. 100 page views a day, something like that. Here he is in hospice. And he wasn't speaking to his father or most of his family, so, you know. But they're like, oh my God, Nathan Phelps, Fred Phelps is dying. What do we do? We got to talk to somebody. Nathan Phelps looks like an interesting guy. So they're over here. Now this isn't the same page view amounts. We're not talking about 100,000 page views. This is about 1,500, is that what it looks like? Or 15,000 over here. I can't see that extra zero. So this is about 15,000 views in one day. He dies, and then here we're up here at 12, 13, 14,000 page views in a day. So it's not the same one for Westboro Baptist and Fred Phelps, but you can see that there's a correlation between Nathan Phelps getting a lot of page views. But thankfully, there was this group out there that rewrote the Wikipedia page just in time. Now, we didn't know psychically this was going to happen or anything, but I'm telling you, these pages need to be already written and ready because we don't know when this is going to happen. It takes us weeks to rewrite a Wikipedia page sometimes. So, this is telling you that from the time we made the page live, from the time the GSoW made it, rewrote it, to the time I printed out this slide, which is a while back, it had the Wikipedia page for Nathan Phelps has been viewed 245,319 times.
All right.
And that was like since we rewrote it, and I printed this slide out maybe 2 years ago. So a lot of people have viewed that Wikipedia page because we had his back. So we also translated it into Dutch, and at the time I printed out the slide, we'd already had 2,000 page views on it. And then we printed it out and we did it in Russian. Why not? Which had 6,000 page views at the time I made this slide. So we not only work just in English, as I said, we try to get all the languages possible because you don't know when their book is going to be translated or they're going to be doing a lecture in some place or something like that. So now I'm going to tell you another story. This one is about veganism, and you might have heard of it. This is called What the Health. Anybody have heard of this?
Yes.
Okay. You got a sip of it.
I see it coming.
So What the Health was a documentary on Netflix. I'm sorry I'm blocking the screen, but I'm trying to, could you open that and put them in there, please? So What the Health is a documentary that was on Netflix. I'd never heard of it at all. No idea what this was. But I'm on Facebook. That's my main area is Facebook. I love to be on Facebook.
All three of them?
Yeah, all three, boy. If I had 6 of them, I'd probably put them in there. Anyway, so What the Health, it was a documentary that somebody wrote to me on Facebook and said, Susan, oh my gosh, what are you going to do about it? All right, guys, you know, I'm not the only person out there who can do something about something. But What the Health was a documentary on TV that was happening on Netflix, and it appeared, thank you so much, it appeared in, out, and I didn't, like I said, I didn't know what it was. And I went to look and see if it had a Wikipedia page. Guess what? It had a Wikipedia page. And it looks like one of their fans wrote it or something because it's very glowing. Again, you're not supposed to be reading this. But what it basically says is it's talking about who produced it, how the money was raised, and it was on Indiegogo, and blah, 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 and who was, all that kind of stuff. And then down here, which of course you can't read, because I don't want you to read, these are all featured individuals. These are people who were in the film, the documentary. These got some cool names after internal medicine physician, assistant professor of New York University School of Medicine, Michelle McCann. Anybody heard of her? She's not notable. If she was notable, it would be a blue link to her name. So why is she mentioned on a Wikipedia page? Maybe somebody's trying to influence it to make it look like the Wikipedia page is a little more sciencey than it is, to make the documentary look sciencey, if that's a word. There's all kinds. Here's a pediatrician. Here's a certified nutritionist, thank you. Here's executive director of Energy Justice Network. Energy Justice Network is not notable. It was not a hyperlink. So why are they mentioned on here? And on and on. Here's a Pew Commission on Industrial Farm Animal Production is listed on there. So these are people that are listed on this page without saying it directly. They're insinuating that this is a sciencey documentary. Okay, now I don't need to tell you, but What the Health is not a sciencey anything. It is pseudoscience. Now, there's nothing wrong with veganism per se, but there's a lot of woo in the vegan community. They take a lot of liberties with the science, let's say, okay? So there's a lot of that going on. So one of the problems we ran into is, here's a reference, it's on the Wikipedia page, is that there was nothing notable criticism to put on it. The documentary just came out. It had just appeared like a month or so before somebody had brought it to my attention. And I wasn't really watching Netflix, so I didn't really know anyway. Like, I mean, there's 100,000 emergencies every day if somebody would, you know, that something's happening, oh my God, Susan, do something, you know, so I can only react as fast as I can. So, what do? There's nothing notable to put on this page. We cannot put criticism on a page unless it's coming from somebody who is notable, which that means that they have a Wikipedia page. That's one criteria. They also have to be an expertise in that area. So we're looking at a nutritionist, a doctor, some scientist-y kind of person that's in the medical field, right? So we can't just take somebody who's an expert on UFOs and have them write an article about a vegan film, because they're not their expertise, even if they are notable. And the third criteria is they need to publish it in a place where we can cite it and use it on a Wikipedia page. So we were panicking. We didn't know what to do. Let me get another drink. It's hot up here, you guys. What is going on with this weather here? God, I thought we were in, what's this climate change stuff going on?
Oh yeah, totally.
I know, for real. It must be fake.
Sorry.
Sorry. I thought it was going to be cool in Washington. What the heck?
Not in summer.
Not in the summer. Well, anyway. So we were browsing around, and one of the things that I kind of created a long time ago is, if you can't find a citation, find a way of creating a citation. We know hundreds of people, if not more than hundreds of people in the GSoW. We know lots and lots of scientists because we've written their Wikipedia pages, so we know all these people. So I sent an email to somebody that I hopefully know. She's from Washington. Anybody know Harriet Hall? You better know her. You better get her in here to talk. She's a very good. She has. Get her here. She should be here right now. She should be right there. Harriet, why aren't you here?
It's a kind of a distance, but you'll see her tomorrow. You will see her in Tacoma.
Oh, she's coming to Tacoma?
I don't know, but that's where she
You better.
lives.
Now you.
She lives in Puel.
Oh, that's why the name sounds familiar. I saw it on the road signs coming up. I should just come by her house. Anyway, so Harriet Hall's a very good friend of mine. Science-Based Medicine is a really great site. Okay, so she's notable. She has a Wikipedia page. We know that because we created it. 2, she is a medical doctor. So 3, she just needs to write something, right? Well-researched. Now, we're not putting things on Wikipedia pages, don't get me wrong, that's gossipy, slanderous, mean-spirited. Necessarily, we're not going to do that. That is up for the person who's notable to say and do. It's not my opinion. But I asked Harriet, please, could you do an article for Science-Based Medicine on this documentary? What the hell? She goes, okay, I'll look at it. And then she wrote me back and she says, okay, it'll be up on Tuesday. She's such a sweet person. She goes, it'll be up on Tuesday. And by the way, Susan, you owe me 2 hours of my life. It was awful. It was horrible. It was horrible. Why'd you make me do that? We've asked her to do other since. But so in the meantime, while I was waiting to be published, we found this article. Anybody know this guy?
Yay!
Oh, I am dying to meet him. Do you know him?
Yeah. No, I don't, but I just love him so much. I can share his stuff and people will, because he's entertaining.
Yeah.
People will,
They get it because he's funny.
and you can share. There have been some people in the New Age, because I used to be in the New Age, who I've been able to share some of his stuff with them. And because it's entertaining, they'll watch it.
Right. Okay. So just for the cameras used, if you couldn't hear her, she was saying that he does video. He's like a video star. He's a medical doctor, lives in Vegas. He's done some pretty interesting things. I cannot pronounce his real name, but he uses the GSoW MD. He's a medical doctor. He's fabulous. He swears. He's funny. So you can share, as she was saying, you could share his videos to people who are kind of, not too academically minded, maybe is a kind way of saying it. And they get it and they think it's funny and they're like, oh, that's great, So GSoW came out with a video on what the health. And because you can't read this, it says, got a Facebook friend telling you to watch the Netflix documentary What the Health? We wasted an hour and a half so you don't have to. So now GSoW is notable. He is a medical doctor and he's producing something I can cite, which is a YouTube video, and that's fine because it's his YouTube channel, that's his thing. So we were able to take a bit of what he said and put it on the Wikipedia page as we were rewriting it for What the Health. Here's what's on the Wikipedia page. At least last I checked, hopefully it's still there. That was the stupidest expletive thing I've ever seen. I feel like I've lost expletive brain cells. And it does say expletive. It doesn't say the word. But, because that's what it is. So that is on the Wikipedia page for What the Health. So if you read that, you'll find that on there. Also, then Harriet came out with a much kinder article. You can look at this. It's published in Science-Based Medicine, and it talks about veganism. And she's talking about it from a medical perspective that veganism isn't necessarily bad, but the claims that are made in this documentary are false. And so here's what we put on the Wikipedia. Oops, I'm going to tell you right here. What the Health espouses the fairy tale that all major diseases can be prevented and cured by eliminating meat and dairy from the diet. It is biased and misleading and is not a reliable source of scientific information. So that's what Harriet Hall said. Now I'm going to show you some stats because we like stats. You guys are numbers people. So it's hard to see with the little blue lines here, so I'm going to show you here, and he's going to tell me what the numbers say if I've got it wrong. So these are, What the Health has 0 hits here at the very beginning because What the Health somebody wrote the page right before the documentary or when the documentary came out. It possibly was somebody from What the Health, I don't know. And then the page views go up here to 2,000, 4,000, these are a day, 6,000 page views, and so on. And this is when we got the criticism from Z-Dog and Harriet Hall on here, right here. That's what that big red arrow is. Right in time, boy, it's like we're psychic or something. Where's my $1 million? It's because right after 6,000, 7,000 more, 9,000 page views, and then it trailed off as it kind of left Netflix. But why are these stats so high? Who's going to a Wikipedia page to look at a movie? Why would you go to look at a movie? You Google it, and you kind of want to know, is that real? What's going on with that? So we have to have some place they can find some information, because they're really questioning. These aren't to the true believers we're fighting. These are people who innocently stumbled across the documentary and said, what's that all about? Was that real? Gosh, really? So we have to have these pages in a way so that people can find them. All right, this is my last shortest story. If I was to be able to change hats from you right now, large amounts of people know me as the Wikipediatrician. I run a Wikipedia editing group, and that's what we do. On my other hand, I'm quite an activist when it comes to grief vampires. That's what we call them. Mark Edward and myself and other people who do stuff with me. I do a lot of activism concerning psychics, and I specialize in psychic detectives or people who are claiming to speak to dead people. I don't care so much about the tarot readers and the palmists and stuff like that. This is where my energy goes. Anybody heard of Tyler Henry? Ooh, not very many, a few. That's probably for the best you don't know. So this story is going to be a little bit about psychics. It's not important that you know who Tyler Henry is, because it could insert name of psychic and it would be the same story. Tyler Henry is what Mark Edward, who's an expert on psychics in our community, he calls fuzzy sweater skeptics. Psychics. Fuzzy sweater psychics. Not because he wears a fuzzy sweater, but the generation we're seeing right now, we're getting away from the John Edwards, the Sylvia Browns, the raspy, insulting type of people. I see your son is dead, We're getting away from that. We're getting to a kinder, gentler kind of psychic that looks like they could be your aunt or, walk your dog for you when you're out of town, the kind of person who would probably bag your groceries, that fuzzy sweater next door kind of person. And that's what we're seeing now with people like Tyler Henry. He has a TV show, 4 seasons now, thank you, on Hollywood, called Hollywood Medium. It's on the E network, E for, I don't know, entertainment, I hope, but he comes off as being the real deal. A woman wrote to me and said, hey, I'm seeing all these ads for this guy. Who is it? Is he real? And I said, well, let's look into it, because I'm a good skeptic. I'm not going to denounce him right away. Let's look and see. So I started writing about him. And because I'm notable, because I have a Wikipedia page, I'm considered an expert on psychics. And because I'm going to publish something that can be cited, it's not like a blog or a website. I'm publishing in Skeptical Inquirer, which is where I write, the online sources. Here he is with one of our favorite people, Dr. Phil, who I'm told is the biggest skeptic in the world. We all know that. He may very well be, but he knows where the dollar is. So he appeared with Dr. Phil, and so he got a huge bump in his thing. So somebody wrote a Wikipedia page. We didn't write the Wikipedia page. Somebody wrote a page, and it looks like whoever wrote it, I don't know who it was, used my first article about him, because that was one of the more prominent things on the page that they wrote. I was thinking, should we write a page for this guy? Should we not? You're kind of like, he's kind of notable, but it's going to give him a lot more publicity if we write the page, to make him look more prominent. So we don't want him to have a page unless we can get some good notable criticism. So here's Wikipedia page stats, remember? Again, this isn't important for you to be able to see it exactly, but when we got involved, February of 2016 to, what's the date at the very end?
5/10/2017.
Okay, so May of 2017, so about 15 months. This is kind of a stat view. And you can see up here, there's a lot of stat, spikes. This is when the E! Network was really starting to publicize him for his first season. And then it kind of goes down here to under 2,000 page views, maybe 1,500 page views. That's still a lot. And then see this huge spikes in here again. That's whenever they were starting to advertise him for season 2. And then it goes down here, and then you can see a couple spikes down there at the end that show like spike, where they're starting to publicize him for season 3. Lord knows. I don't know why he's got season 4, but he does. I've written about 7 articles on him. Every time he does a reading with somebody famous, well, not every time, I try to go through the video and talk about exactly what's wrong with it. One of them was Matt Lauer, remember him? So Tyler Henry read him before he was fired, like 2 years before. His father came through and told him about coins and told him about being on the lake and how proud he was of his son. His father didn't tell him anything about his life was about to be over. For some reason, I don't know why he didn't see that Matt Lauer is about to have, the nightmare he's going through now. But he didn't tell him. His father said, I'm proud of you. Really, Dad? You're proud that I was doing that to all those women? Okay, cool. What's this about the coins? So anyway, so I write about those kinds of things. Nancy Grace and so on who've done readings with him. So now this is the Wikipedia page for Susan Gerbic, speaking in the third person. Now this is not thousands of page views. I am not famous. I shouldn't really have very many Wikipedia page view stats. Because outside of speaking to skeptic community, I'm really unknown, and that's fine. I want to keep it that way because I want to be able to speak to you guys and really be able to encourage you to do the things I do. It's not important that I'm on Oprah or anything like that. I'd rather just go talk to skeptic groups.
Or Wired Magazine. Or Wired Magazine.
Or Wired Magazine. I hope you guys saw that. I'm really happy with that. So here's page view stats of like 200. Now the reason why these are spiking is because this is the exact same dates of the slide I showed you a minute ago. Here's a Tyler Henry slide view stats. Here's a Susan Gerbic stat. So you can see, spike, this is what I'm starting to have, they're starting to mention, the Susan Gerbic articles are starting to appear on this Tyler Henry Wikipedia page. So you can see some spikes. And then it's a lull, and then look at these spikes. We're going up into almost 400 page views. Not a lot, but you can see the spike. And it goes down, and you can see the 2 big spikes that were on the other page. Now I'm going to put these together. This is a logarithmic scale, which means it's all just kind of compressed so it fits on one slide. The blue at the top is Tyler Henry in the thousands. The green at the bottom are the Susan Gerbics, which are in the hundreds. Can you guys kind of see a trend that they tend to kind of mirror each other? Because remember, nobody should be really looking at the Susan Gerbic Wikipedia page. So this is kind of a control, because if there's no other outside source looking at the Wikipedia page for Susan Gerbic, and it's all coming from the Tyler Henry page, can you guys see what this means? Does this kind of ring a bell to you?
They're checking your credentials, basically.
Well, yeah, they're checking because I'm the most noted person on Tyler Henry's page. There are other skeptics that have written about Tyler Henry and they're on the page, but mine's mentioned more often. I think it's also mentioned at the top. So people are looking at the Susan Gerbic and going, who in the hell is that? Clicking on the page. I have no idea if they're going there for good reasons or bad. It doesn't matter, but it just shows that they're going from one page to the other, just like the Nathan Phelps views I showed you a few minutes ago. All right, some sharp-eyed person in here. Somebody see anything odd about the Susan Gerbic? What do you see? Somebody tell me out loud.
There's a couple of big
Big
dips.
drop.
Some dips. Why?
They took your name off, I think.
Took my name off?
Maybe.
You were attacked by believers.
So what that means?
Aliens.
Aliens. Well, Venus is in retrograde. So you can see there's a huge dip down here, not corresponding here. There's a huge dip. Can you point to that for me? Huge dip right there, and it not correspond. Thank you, Anna. And it doesn't correspond up at the top. So that means that if the Susan Gerbic entries are not on the Wikipedia page for Tyler Henry, they're still going to the Tyler Henry page. Somebody completely eliminated the criticism section. And the person who eliminated it was somebody whose username was I love Tyler. And then their next entry was ban Susan Gerbic from Wikipedia. So, like that's going to happen, right? So as soon as it was noticed, we have very little problem with believers editing stuff. Very rarely happens, but in this case it did. And I'm kind of glad it did because it really is, it's a nice, interesting slide so we can understand why we have to have notable criticism on Wikipedia pages, because otherwise they're reading the Wikipedia page and they're just getting gloss, he's wonderful, he's lovely, what a sweet smile, what a nice guy. So we have to have this done. All right. So I'm almost done, and I'm hoping for some really terrific questions. Anybody here know who Stanley Plotkin is? There's one. Awesome. You know him?
Yeah, he's a vaccine researcher. He is responsible for the rubella vaccine, and he worked with Dr. Offit for the rotavirus vaccine.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to make sure that, yeah. Make sure you get a candy for you later or something. That's awesome. Paul Offit is the one who asked me to look at this page. Actually, by the way, he said, Susan, this guy needs a Wikipedia page update. So Stanley Plotkin, I'd never heard of him either, but as she said, he is he's a virologist, is that what they would call him? He's a person who's been working on vaccines, and he invented or was on the team that created the rotavirus, I think, rubella, which is German measles, and I think there was a rabies one in there too, and I believe there's a pneumonia vaccine too that they helped create. In other words, this guy's done some life-changing things. Now, one of the things I want to do with the GSoW project is I want to make sure that we get students interested in science. I want people to be able to go to the Wikipedia pages and not read them to look like, well, he was born in this city, and guess what? The next thing we know, he had a PhD and he's doing these amazing things. I don't want that story. I don't want gossip. I don't want any slanderous stuff, but I want to tell a story that somebody, the average person, can read and feel inspired. I want them to be able to go, he's from my hometown. Wow, I didn't think anything happened in my hometown, and look, this guy became, he went to my high school. Oh, look at this guy. He had trouble too. He's dyslexic like I am. Or look at this guy, he was into motocross or whatever. I want them to feel like they can relate to the people who are in our community, the scientists in our community. So that's how we write our Wikipedia pages, with some personality in it, without it being gossipy, without it being trivial, but trying to tell a more complete story of the struggles that these people have. And let me tell you, they're as human as anybody else. This man, Stanley Plotkin, wanted to be a pilot. He wanted to become a pilot very badly, and he had to choose. So he decided he would go into science, research science, and became a virologist, and he probably saved millions of lives. Very likely he saved tons and tons of lives. So I'm kind of glad he didn't get into becoming a pilot. I'm sure he'd be a nice pilot. But what happened with Stanley Plotkin is, later in his life, I think in his 70s, he went back and got his pilot's license. That's kind of cool. I really love that. So Stanley Plotkin, this is the pages that exist now. Or when I printed out the slide, 21 citations on there. See, this is the page that it looks like now, more or less, unless we've changed it a little bit. So it looks pretty darn good. Ready? Here's what it looked like before we got involved. At least I had a photo. 5 citations. Not too good. What do we call this?
Stub.
Non-scroller. Stub. Non-scroller, because you can scroll the whole damn thing and you'll see it on your screen. You can probably look at that on your phone, probably a little tiny phone, and you'll be able to see the whole page. This guy doesn't look respectable, does he? He doesn't look like he's anybody. He's just some guy, whatever. And it doesn't tell a story. It doesn't talk about the amazing things he did, maybe a little bit, but not much. It's pretty embarrassing. This guy represents us. This is our guy. This is one of our peeps. We need to have his page. We need to have his back, guys. There's probably 1,000 pages out there like this. I wrote to Stanley Plotkin after the page was created. Paul Offit got me in contact with him, and I said, Dr. Plotkin, I just want to let you know that my team has rewritten your Wikipedia page. Here's what it looked like before. Here's what it looked like now. And he responded. Here's what he said. I'm flattered that you undertook this, especially as I approach the end of my career and ask myself whether or not I have accomplished anything on this. Does that just break your heart? And that's what he said, and I asked him, could I use that quote on a slide? And he says, absolutely. So this man thought he was forgotten. Nobody cared. Nobody knew. Well, there's one. So I feel very, very bad. This guy seems like such a sweetheart. He sent the Wikipedia page, the email I sent, he sent it out to everybody in his email list. And you see it says like his daughter's name, daughter-in-law, son-in-law, he's got all the little things. He forwarded it to everybody, he was so happy. But I've had this story, this is just one story. I can tell you tons of stories. This is just one story of a page that's been rewritten. So, this is my Wikipedia team. Actually, it's not. See the slide, the disclaimer, the asterisk says not real GSoWians. These are happy people. Somebody found a picture on Facebook and put my logo in there. So we are a team. We have evidence on our side. But unless we find creative ways to get this information in places where people will find it and get it in languages that they understand and that they can read non-academically, then we will always be fighting against fake news and celebrities on Twitter and Facebook. We are a tiny little percent of the population that cares about this kind of thing. So we need a bigger proportion of people to step up. So doing GSoW training is a big task. It's all done on Facebook and Google Documents. If you're not on Facebook, you can't join my team. I'm so sorry, but that's how it is. You can just have a Facebook account and don't let anybody see it if you're upset about it. But everything is self-paced and your own time. You have a personal trainer, and it can take you months to get through it. But I tell you, the people on the team are the most amazing people from all over the world. They're incredible, amazing peers that you would have. It's all self-paced, and as I said, you can have a personal trainer to help you along with it the whole time. Once you finish training, which can take months or weeks, you're going to work at it, but it's done at your own pace. So don't tell me you're too busy. I don't want to hear it. Everybody on my team is too busy. But we got to step up, because guess what? We're marching for science, and we ain't doing nothing with it, right? We're not getting anywhere. And it's our fault. I really do feel that way. When we elected this president, when it was between him and her, I said to myself, if we elect him out of some freak nature thing that I can't even imagine it happening, but if we elect him, it's our fault. We've been allowing this to keep going on, attacks on science, and we don't stand up, and we don't fight back, and we don't organize. We just continue fighting with each other on Twitter and Facebook and whatever, and watching cat videos and saying, I'm too busy. We're all too busy. We have to have this. We need to have these people's backs, and we need to get this under control. I'm sorry I rant, but I do feel very passionate about it. So this is my slide to talk about numbers. So remember how I told you that we keep track of all the Wikipedia pages that we have created or rewritten. We never create a stub. Pages we have written, like the Stanley Plotkin page or the Nathan Phelps page. We keep track of how many page views they've had from the time we made it live. And we've just released, well, I'm on the road, so I'm not sure. There might be a couple more that I haven't even looked at. We've released 666 pages. Right? Good number. And those 666 pages have now received 29 million page views.
Whoa.
So don't tell me we ain't doing this. We are doing this. With my limited team of 130 people, we are kicking some major ass. And what we're doing is we're doing so much more than speaking out and marching for science. We're actually putting our money where our mouth is, even though there's no money involved. You can't donate, by the way. We have a nonprofit. Please donate so we can do more of these lectures. But also donate to this group so that they can bring in more speakers. But we are marching for science in a way that is going to affect way more than just carrying signs out on a street somewhere, which feels good. Do it more often. But seriously, guys, we really have to have this. So that ends my slide presentation, and I don't know, Scott, do you guys usually do Q&A right away?
Sure. Well, go
or
right
do you
ahead.
guys want to take a break? But
Let's do it right away.
Okay.
Go for it.
So, Q&A, give me the hard stuff, baby. That's what she said. Okay.
Let's give her a hand.
Okay, question over here.
Okay,
I'm going to repeat your question.
Okay, I'm a graduate of the GSoW Prague Mastering Mediumship class.
Oh, really?
And I ended up...
I knew that.
Okay. I know, and I've gone to events with some of the people who are major people. I've gone to their events and stuff. It's very frustrating for me, having left the New Age because of watching lives risked, to see skeptics not use the Hay House Company publishing affiliation with various people. One of the reasons that I don't believe in mediumship at all, as anyone talking to heaven, is the work of Dr. Gorski. But Dr. Gorski in his articles does not show us which of the people he's called out are tied to Hay House Publishing, including Deepak Chopra. Recently, there was a Hay House Heal Summit in which Hay House Publishing plugged to my people that I love, who are New Age people, Kelly Brogan.
I don't know who that is.
Kelly Brogan is a germ theory HIV/AIDS denialist who tells people, and I'm a Republican, and you guys think Donald Trump medical is bad. You should see what Kelly Brogan plugs.
Oh, God.
Giving birth at home without a doctor, not taking statins as a woman. Don't take your psychiatric medications as an act of feminism. But it's really frustrating for me as someone who's tried to be more active, as someone who is in the New Age, to communicate to skeptics over and over again, people can't find the Hay House tie-in. I don't believe in mediumship because when I took the various skeptic pieces and I looked at who James O'Frock plugs, he plugged Doreen Virtue, he plugged, and all the people he plugged to me, I looked at who they plugged. And when you put it in a diagram, it knocks the whole thing out. But skeptics don't put it together. And I'm just saying, it breaks my heart to see Dr. Guntner, who's a gynecologist, who's a skeptic, who's calling out things like goop, okay? And I see Dr. Gorski, and I see Dr. Offit. I follow Dr. Offit on Facebook and on Twitter. And I see these people calling out figures that I know, and as a Republican, I see Hay House, the fraud and the medical endangerment coming to my fellow Republicans through Hay House being tied to Alex Jones.
Right, okay. So I don't know if I can sum this up, but I feel your passion. I am a firm believer that we need to work together, and these people who are in the community that you're talking about, the wooing community, they're real people. They could be us. In fact, a lot of us probably came from there, and including myself. I was a believer in the paranormal for a long time and worked my way out of it. Some people do, sometimes we don't. We need to be kind because we have to understand that they're not they're victims. They're not stupid. These are people who are just, for whatever reason, have not climbed out yet. Maybe they'll stay in all the time. These are real people that they're victims. She's talking about Hay House, which is the publisher of Sylvia Brown and a lot of these psychics. It's a publishing house that has a lot of.
No, but what I'm saying today, I just want to share with all of you today. Today, I challenged a Hay House author on Twitter, and I said to her, "You're a hypocrite. You have a nut allergy, and you're on Twitter, and you're calling out Delta Airlines for not having accommodation for nut allergy." I said, you're with a company that says you can choose not to be nut allergic if you just want to manifest it, and you can control your reaction. And I hit her hard, and I hit it. And I said, you can't ethically admit that allergies are real. And you know what she said?
What?
She didn't know about Hay House's history. If she said she would rethink. But skeptics, you have all the pieces, but there's no way for a New Age person, unless you know Dr. Gorski, or you know Dr.
You got out.
But I got out because I faced a situation where James O'Frock, I was one of his students.
Oh wow, I gotta talk to you.
I'm actually a graduate of the Seattle Master in Mediumship course, and I watched someone he sent me to put out completely wrong information on suicide, and then a skeptic online who runs a site called Bad Psychic.
Yeah, I know him, John.
Told me, go through your notebook with James O'Frock. He said, I want you to I want you to go through everything he taught you, everyone he plugged to you, every idea he said, everything in his books, and see what the evidence is that they're supported or not supported. And then I went, and I just want to let every one of you know, I have been trying alone as a skeptic to get anyone to pick up that Hay House Publishing has promoted a rape and molestation apologist, and I can't get it picked up. Esther Hicks has got audio online. A major Hay House author who Dwayne Dwyer promoted, who James O'Frock has plugged in his students. And Esther Hicks says, we shouldn't tell women about rape risk because it'll cause them to manifest getting raped more.
Oh.
But I'm saying
Okay, so I got it. We got to talk. Trust me. There's a lot going on there, and there's so many things that need to be done. Yeah. We need to sit down and find a way of doing it, and that's why we have to meet like this, communicate like this, make contact with each other through email, Facebook, and talk to each other about how to do it. Because I am really big on the Greek vampires. trust me, I know a lot of the people you're mentioning, and maybe I can give you some suggestions, but we'll talk later. Scott, or whoever,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
Oh, how does one become an editor on Wikipedia?
How does one become an editor on Wikipedia, or how does one become a GSoW editor? They're two different things.
Either way.
Okay. So if you want to be an editor on Wikipedia, there's tens of thousands of editors on Wikipedia. You just go and you just
Do it?
Just do it. You don't even have to log in. You just make it up, you just go along and you do your own thing. If you do that though, it's going to be difficult battling unless you're really good at coding. There's a lot of not very nice editors out there who are not kind to people who are new. What I do is you're going to approach me on Facebook. Because again, I said we run everything on Facebook. We put you in a secret cabal, and you're going to get on a training team, immediately introduced to 100 and something people on a Facebook group that's closed, and you will meet some amazing people, and I will send you all the training materials to you, and you will communicate with your trainer, and you go through lesson after lesson after lesson. When you go at the pace you feel like going, when you're done, you know a lot. You don't know everything, but you know a lot, and you will know how to find out the things you don't know, and you'll have all the peers that will help you. And you go through and you do the training. It's hard for me to explain it because it's not, Deborah, you help me? It's not, there's no one way of doing it, but that's the sequence. You come to me usually on Facebook, and then you go through training, and you're in a peer